hearing that will be in the next class. So we'll go right into the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, board directors, community members. First, I would like to give a huge recognition and thank you to our administrative professionals. It is that time of year where we want to recognize all of the efforts that our front office and central office administrators perform. They are central to the work we have. One only needs to look back at COVID-19. These are the folks literally welcoming people at the doors and trying to give them information when we have closed schools. These are the folks that take students who may not be feeling well. In the event that there's not a nurse on site, they answer general questions and sometimes very detailed questions at the school sites, and they also are the ones that help send out information to all the family members. So I just really want to take a moment to thank all of them for their service here at the Shelton School District. I know when I go out to school sites, I get a warm and welcoming smile that comes. I'm very receptive. I know they're usually really busy, so I think it's just a testament about how good they are here in the school district. So with that, thank you to our administrative professionals. You know, it's now that things are opening up and a lot of things changing, it tends to bring out a lot of questions that are presented out there in the greater community as part of the transition like coming to an end of the school year, especially now that more things are freed up. People are already looking in the next school year, and I thought I would take this opportunity to provide an update with some factual information that I think our community would really like to know. One, the pool will open up. We have a beautiful pool at our high school, Shelton High School, and it will be ready to open up pretty much the standard operation that we had pre-pandemic when the school year, the 2022-23 school year starts. So that would include classes for students. So students are already registering for courses that they'll be doing swimming. A lot of them get their lifeguard certification through there. We also teach all of our elementary students how to swim. So that's our first, second, and third graders. They'll be having access to the pool all next year. And then, of course, open swim. I know that we get calls fairly frequently about when are we going to have open swim. So we'll be getting some of that back up and going again starting this next September. We are, for the general community, I would let them know we're working with the YMCA to help provide supervision and support of that operation. It's quite extensive to operate a pool, and with our partnership and them being located so nearby, it's really actually very helpful to us. So more details to come there. Dual language. I just met with some of our community members today, met with staff last week. Quite a lot of time put in on our dual language program, and I would just really reiterate that the Shelton School District continues to support the dual language program. So we're really looking forward to working with our staff as we head into the summer and next year. Dual language program needs a lot of support, modifying the curriculum, translating a lot of the text, putting that together. That's a lot of planning, and so we'll be working with our staff at the Evergreen Elementary around our dual language program. So I'm excited to provide information on this fall about our continuing efforts to provide a high quality dual language program for our students and our families. The Academies, we are heavily vested in them. They are a central part of our newly approved strategic plan. When we say college and career readiness, the Academies are central to that. I was just at Shelton High School today in the new Met building, which will have an opening on May 25th from 4 to 6. So again, May 25th, yes, from 4 to 6, where we're going to not only open the Met building, But we're going to have students on site demonstrating some of the equipment and their learnings. It's really cool. And we're also going to kick off our strategic plan. So quite an event. Food, some swag. Staff will be there to answer questions that anybody would have in the general public. And then we have, like I said, students on site to demonstrate the skills that they're acquiring so that they truly are college and career ready. But with that said, the academies are always going to be underneath some level of change. The job market changes all the time, as well as student interest. Students drive the courses that we offer. Their interest in what they enroll in does drive what we're doing. So just putting that out there, the academies are an awesome investment that the Shelton School District has now had for almost 6 years. Just look for that to continue and grow, and a lot more excitement and news about that to come. And then the enrollment process. This school year, we updated our enrollment process for a number of reasons. I would just put it out there that prior to that, we didn't really have a standard enrollment or open enrollment period. So when you don't have an open, you can't hear me? Sandy and Linda or no? I'm going to pause for a second. You can barely hear me. Now you can hear me. Got it. Thank you. Sorry, folks. So I was talking about the enrollment process, and this year we updated it to include an open enrollment process for our families. Prior to that, you would have a situation where you would have so we did put out that information how we can help them. An open enrollment event right next door at Olympic Middle School, where we can provide translation interpretation process. This open window provides families time to learn about all of our programs and services, ask questions, get that information so that it's, again, not a first come, first serve. Everybody's open to the open pool, and then when it closes, we have that information. Every school district is reliant on enrollment information to drive program, ultimately who we hire, how many we hire, and then what we call the master schedule in our schools so that we know where students are going and families know who their student is being taught by and which courses they are in. And I'm talking specifically at the secondary level there. So ultimately we want our students to know what's going on, last minute decisions. In August, it's not a good time to find out whether you're accepted or not. And so obviously we worked diligently so that, again, everybody can have that. And then ultimately over the summer we can work down wait lists as we look to fill in where families want to go and where we have seats available at our 8 schools in addition to the programmatic services that we offer. We're either going to go with feedback or you can barely hear me. So I'll just talk a little louder. That's really loud, but that's all right. And then the last part, this week we have our DECA team out in Atlanta. It's one of our big trips that we've had for our students. I'm really excited for DECA. In fact, our own student rep, Richard Beckman from Shelton High School, is gone today as a part of DECA, so we wish them well in Atlanta. So with that, that was quite a lot of update, but I just think it's really key to just get key information out there to our families and to our students and to our staff. If you need more information, I encourage you to look on the district's website or give the central office a call or your own student school a call, and they'll be happy to help you as usual. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our board president.
Yeah, thank you. Those were great announcements, very helpful. Will things like the Met Academy ribbon cutting be put on the website as well too?
Yes, we just did that walkthrough today, so more information will go out, and then we'll be doing a mailing and some robocalls. Probably not next week, but the next week after that, about 2 weeks out.
Okay, and then information like the pool as it gets closer to being the next school year, information like that will be, I would imagine, robocalled and put on the website as well.
Yes, as details come into view, they'll also be put on the website, and then people generally know, a lot of people know how to call our facilities
Yes.
around that as well, yes.
All right, well, thank you for your report. Are there any questions or comments from any board members at this time? Nope. Okay. All right, we will go into community comments, and we do have a number of people signed up tonight, so I'm going to read through the standard language that we have around community comments. As part of the regular school board meeting, the board invites community members to make public comments in person and/or by phone as conditions allow. If speaking in person, please follow the public comment procedure by signing in and stating your name and address at the podium when called by the board chair. If making comments by phone, please dial 1-253-215-8782 and enter meeting ID number 872-5618-1978. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the board is not allowed to discuss items that are not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise during public comment as appropriate. The board will not allow complaints against an individual staff member or student in open session unless that individual has requested an open public hearing. So we may have had other people sign in as well. I did see a few people signing in while we were just doing the beginning part, if we want to grab that. But the first one that I have up, I believe, is it Marie Marbit? If you could come up to the podium and state your name and address. And I just want to thank all of you that are students, current students, or previous students that are here. We welcome you in our public comment and any other community members for public comment. So yes, you can come up, and if you state your name and address, and then you are welcome to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Marie Marbet. I live on 3330 Southeast Lynch Road. I am a former student of Evergreen Dual Language Program. Dual language has benefited and continues to benefit me as I move throughout my life. But first, let me quote the Superintendent Chris Reichdahl from the Office of Superintendent of Public Schools. In my 6-year vision for restructuring K-12 education in Washington State, I call for all students to learn a second language and to begin that learning in kindergarten, if not earlier. Shelton School District started their dual language program in 1996. Let's not let it lapse now. Learning a second language at a young age allowed me to go about my life being able to understand and communicate with people who I might not have been able to communicate with in the past. Evergreen also gave me a view into a world that I may never have seen as a young child. Celebrating through the school things like Dia de los Niños and learning from my peers about their lives within their culture allowed me better understanding as well as a lot of respect for Central American people. Children don't always absorb the importance of lessons they learn, but Evergreen taught me that my understanding of the world is not the only perspective that I need. We are here to talk about dual language, however, from the academic side and not the cultural side. Speaking Spanish throughout elementary and middle school gave me enough knowledge to receive a certificate of biliteracy through Shelton schools. This means that as a high schooler, I no longer had to take language for credits and pushed me even closer to graduation. Currently, I'm taking Spanish 3 at South Puget Sound Community College. This means that if I get a B+ or higher, I will no longer have to take Spanish in college and can instead reorient towards study abroad programs that would really enrich me in culture and world travel. Instead of learning basics now, I have a head start above my peers who come from an only English-speaking background. If Shelton School District wants high expectations for their students, dual language is a perfect example of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Next on the list, I've got Sonia Carrillo, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing names incorrectly. up and state your name and your address at the podium.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Sonia Carrero. Street address is 1711 Olympic Highway South. So good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Carrero. I'm currently in high school. I live with my mother and sister. Growing up with my mother, growing up with speaking Spanish with my family is natural, and then going to Evergreen was natural because everybody there spoke Spanish, and going there and learning English was kind of hard, but having Spanish there helped me understand more English. And sorry, I'm kind of nervous. So going to Evergreen, it was something I looked forward to because I met many friends that had the same background as me, and learning together was something fun to do every day. And I had the opportunity to interact with different people. And I also met Marie there, and she's an English speaking person, and it just proves that you can meet different types of people in Evergreen and different culture as well. My family comes from Guatemala, so there's so many people out there that are the same background as me, and they don't speak Spanish. Some of them barely understand it, but having that program helps their kids who do speak Spanish, and it helps them to communicate with their parents. And if that goes away, well, it's going to be hard for them to communicate with the teachers and the students. And the same thing goes for high school. I don't need my Spanish credits. I already took those, so that's like a big stepping stone for me. Like, that's gone, and I got everything, and I can advance other than my other peers. And and if we have that program, well, it will just bring many different people there. Thank you.
Next up, I have Marisol Paniagua. If you could come up and you can state your name and address for us at the podium, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Marisol Paniagua. I live on 909 May Avenue, Shelton, Washington. I am a senior at Shelton High School, and today I will be talking about the importance of dual language program and how it has helped me throughout my life. Dual language is a great program that has many advantages, such as the ability to speak, read, and write in English and Spanish. Students at a young age should have the advantage to take upon this opportunity because it will not only help them become bilingual, it will also help students effectively connect with people of different cultures and backgrounds, increasing their ability to emphasize with others and promoting emotional intelligence. Growing up as a dual language learner at Evergreen Elementary, I strongly believe that the school does its absolute best to work with students who struggle in one language more than the other. While teachers teaching a class of a certain language to students working outside of the classroom learning one-on-one. For this reason, I agree that the Shelton School District should continue to serve English learners because knowing either English or Spanish is important in today's society. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Kiara Reyna, if you could come up and also state your name and address at the podium.
Can you hear me? All right, perfect. So, hello, I'm Kiara Reyna. I live in 101 East Johns Prairie Corp. I'm here to speak on behalf of the people who couldn't make it to this program at the time. I am a dual lingual learner. I am a former Evergreen Elementary School student. as well as I'm a graduate of the class of the 2020. So I am here to talk about how has Evergreen impacted me throughout my life. So far, I think that it has impacted me in my life, especially where I'm working at the moment. I work at Evergreen Veterinary Hospital in Olympia. I've learned that a lot of language is mixed around, not just through medicine, but also with the English and Spanish. I've also been a translator in that field, and it's very hard when I'm the only one who speaks it. I get very busy. So I think it's personally that the Evergreen Elementary School should stay and help the students who cannot speak English. I think they do their very best to help the other side as speaking English, such as myself. I was a former student that couldn't speak any English, and I thank Evergreen for pushing me out of my comfort zone and making me the person who I am today and speaking both English and Spanish, and I'm not ashamed of that. I also graduated with the Seal by Literacy thanks to Evergreen Veterinary, not Evergreen, Evergreen. I ended up getting my Seal by Literacy, so I'm thankful for them and for the person that they made me today. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Angel Nunez, if you could come up and also state your name and address.
I'm Angel Nunez Acosta, and I live in 50 East Carrion Lane. I want to talk about the dual language, and my experience being in a dual language school was amazing. Learning another language together with other students that didn't know English either, or English speakers that didn't know Spanish. We got to learn together, and the most important thing is to have an opportunity to keep my language and to communicate with my family that live in Mexico, because most of them live there. And knowing two languages can help your parents or can help other strangers in stores that don't really speak the opposite language. And another important point is that we can build a community together and help each other. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Ruby Nunez Acosta.
Hi, my name is Ruby Nunez Acosta. I live in 50 East Carrion Lane, Shelton. And I really like going to Evergreen because when I first got there, I didn't know any English. So it helped me that some people knew Spanish and they could like help me learn more English. And I really like that it was able to have like events from like other cultures, like Dia de los Niños or Dia de los Muertos. And I felt like I was like they wanted to learn my culture. And I'm really glad I went to English school because I didn't lose my Spanish like most people did that didn't go to like dual language school. And so thank you.
Thank you. All right, the last one that I have signed up for community comment at this time is Kane. Is it Kane Hernandez?
Hi everyone, I'm Kane Hernandez and I live on Shelton Mason Street, 1715 Mason Street, Shelton, Washington. I wasn't really quite sure on what to say about this, but based on the impact on dual language, it truly impacted the community, not only based on helping those that aren't fluent Spanish speakers, but bringing people together as a community and all. Shelton has truly a high number of Hispanic people in the community, and it's really I'd say, beneficial not only for them, but for those that aren't fluent Spanish speakers. I myself am a Spanish fluent speaker. I went to Evergreen, and I truly, honestly love the program. It really helped me build a friendship, relationship, not only with the students, but with the members of the school that work there. I also graduated with my CIL by literacy at the high school, and now that I'm in college, I am taking the path of being a high school Spanish teacher based on how impactful Evergreen really impacted my life at such a young age. Like someone in the audience said, they really had events that were really, I would say, culturally based on the Hispanic community, like Dia de los Niños that's coming up the 30th. And it brought up the community and the school to be able to come in as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that is it for community comments at this time. So we are going to go to reports and recognitions. And it looks like we have just one student school board representative here today. So Quinn, we will let you have the floor. You're it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so Cedar is currently moving into, I think it's, I want to say 4th week after spring break. I don't know, I'm kind of losing track of time. Most students are moving into what might be considered like a midterm for their projects, as well as we're kind of accelerating towards the end of the year a little bit faster than most people expected. Not gonna lie, especially me.
Right.
Teachers are going well. So far, ASL is working really well with both its combination class and its alone teaching. Our math and sciences are both progressing a lot faster, but better than we thought they were gonna actually. As well as our Envirothon team, I think just qualified. I know, nobody's heard of it yet. It's a competition where people essentially do trivia about the environment and about ecological science. Our Envirothon team, I think, just made regional champions, and they're moving on to like post-regional, which I think is the entire West Coast.
Yep.
So,
is that like an online competition?
no, I think they do it in person because they said they had to go to Olympia.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. I was not on that team, so I will make sure I get you the details. Other than that, everything seems to be progressing just as normal. It's a small school, so not much tends to go on.
Well, yes, not much like drama, which is always a good thing, right? Things are steady there. Yeah, you guys seem to be a good working group, so that's been nice. And you're right, the school year is rapidly coming to a close. So thank you for your report about Cedar. And as the superintendent mentioned, Richard is, I believe, in Atlanta with the DECA team competing, so he's not with us, and hopefully we will get a report from Audra at some point as well too. So that completes reports and recognitions at this time, and we will go into the consent agenda, which just has a few items in it this evening. The proposed minutes, the personnel report, a few warrants. If there is a motion. Sandy, are you going to second that?
Actually, I was going to state that I would be recusing myself from voting on 6.03, so we have the option of I can recuse myself from not voting on the consent agenda, or we can pull that one aside and have two separate votes, whichever way you want to go. But there's a there's an MTA purchase on that, and since I'm on the MTA board, I would recuse myself from 6.03.
Okay. So I think that would be just excluding yourself from voting on the consent agenda. All right. Why don't I, I'll let you make a motion.
I move that we set aside 6.03 for a separate vote and vote on the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
I don't understand that. You mean I'm going to be asking for a discussion on 6.03? Oh, okay. Are there any comments about 6.03 and pulling that out as a separate item? No, thank you, Sandy, for letting us know about that. It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the removal of 6.03. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yes, we see Sandy saying aye. All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the consent agenda has passed with the removal of 6.03. So now,
I move that we approve item 6.03.
And I will second that.
all right, it has been moved to approve consent agenda item 6.03. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. And we do note that Sandy has recused herself from that item, so it is just the three of our votes for that. And 6.03 has been passed. Now we will move forward to discussion and action items. We've got 7.01, which is the proposed revised policy number 1250, students on governing boards. This is the second reading, and it is recommended for approval. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the student policy? Superintendent, Bessie.
Let me make a statement then on. So we, earlier in the school year, it was raised up by one of our student representatives, Richard, about, maybe an update to this particular policy, 1250. And so we took some time, got some feedback from the student reps, made some changes, really a little bit to the policy, but then also the procedures, which is also attached to the packet. The reason for that is just to make sure that we have a policy and procedures that are reflective of what are the practices here in the school district. And so for those folks out in the audience and those listening in, I just wanted to really highlight just why, what it is that we're doing and why. And the what is specifically that we would have, nominees that would come forward. They would move that to the principal and as well as the ASB advisor. They would be able to submit their application and including any other information that would be pertinent to their leadership at the school site. Then there would be interviews by the principal, the ASB advisor, and then a student representative. And so we wanted to make sure that a student was also on that interview team to be reflective of that. And then we just kind of get clarity too, because there wasn't always necessarily details, that it is a one-year term, so they go for the whole school year. Because they have to be in their application either the year before, either as a sophomore or junior, they could serve up to 2 terms. So I would just clarify that, make sure that's in the notes. That was something that Richard had brought in an email to me last week. And then just, making sure they're in good standing, 3.0 minimum GPA, and then what their responsibilities are and participation. We already have that going on for us here, so that's on display and modeled for others. I will just at this moment note there was one very small edit around the qualifications for folks, and that was in response to the conversation we had at the last school board meeting 2 weeks ago. And I will read that out loud. Underneath, again, the section of qualifications. Selected students should have some leadership experiences in or out of school and involvement in extracurricular and or community activities. And so some students, are very busy, they may have a job and other things going on, so we just wanted to make sure that it was not exclusive, but that was inclusive, that kids may have varied experiences.
So the Cedar ASB has asked me to bring up the issue that they see with it as the representative. It's kind of a joke. But apparently, according to the Cedar ASB, along with a couple of the students around Cedar, they were wondering if mayhaps this would stop them from voting on a student rep themselves, as we did the year before with my entry, and as Shelton actually did my freshman year. Students voted on a student representative who was then sent to the principal and to the ASB advisor.
It would not exclude them from adding that element to it, because it's just an addition. It's not something that would be taking away from that opportunity. You had a big, large pool of people and they wanted to run it that way, that's fine, because ASB would be the ones that would run that own activity in your school. But not required. Does that make sense? Yeah. As noted in the last meeting, and I'll note again, these procedures, I know when it comes to student representatives and leadership positions, there's just fluidity if you had an ASB advisor or not, or, taking things up, or there's a whole bunch of people, or no students decide to run, which is also a possibility. So I just putting that out there, that this is when you try to do these procedures, an approximation as close as possible to the reality in which we live. That is fluid.
And then overseen by each school's ASB. Are there any other questions at this time about the proposed revision for the student policy? No, it doesn't look like there are. It has been recommended for approval. Is there a motion this evening?
I move that we adopt item 701, revised policy number 1250, as well as procedure.
I will second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed revised policy number 1250, students on governing boards. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the proposed revised policy has passed. And now we are at a second community comment period. If there are any other members of the audience or any call-ins, do we have any call-ins at this time, or we do have one? I must have missed that one before, so I apologize for that too if they've been hanging on since the first one. We can take the call-in when you are ready. Oh, they've just called in, but we've got somebody who's called in, but they're not raising their hand for a comment. Okay, and anybody who's out there listening to us, and if you would like to raise your hand. Oh, it's been a while since I've been on Zoom, so you're gonna have to remind me, is it *6? *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. So if there is anybody out there who would like to, we'll give them a moment. And if there's anyone present that would like to make a community comment, you're welcome to do that. All right, it doesn't look like we're getting any hand raises, so we are going to move to board member comments. Sandy, why don't I start with you this evening, since it looks like you've had pretty good internet connectivity tonight.
Quick before it goes away.
Yes.
I'm glad that we have the student policy underway and can move forward with that. Anxious to see that policy now put into action, because we'll be looking for new student reps for the board, or these guys can stay on, whichever. And we had our first WASDA regional meeting in a very long time, so that was last night. And it was a good meeting to have. And there's a lot of new things coming from WASDA. We were all eight.
Oh, Sandy, we've lost you.
We
Lost your audio there for a bit.
I was finished anyway, so that's.
Sorry about that. All these technical snafus. Director Welander, would you like to make any board comments this evening?
Sure. As we come up to the end of the year, we got a big couple of weeks for the 3rd and 4th graders. We've got state testing for the 3rd graders this week, so give those guys a big good luck and a couple extra cookies. 4th grade, the next 2 weeks, state testing is next week, so good luck to there. And they started elementary track this week. I talked to the principal at Mountain View. They had 68 people turn out for that, so cool. Especially since there is a direct correlation between athletes and non-athletes in the GPA. So big thing there. And 4th graders are getting ready for that big leap to middle school next year. So they're starting that little exploration. So good luck to all those guys. Have fun, enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Best.
Thank you. I just want to thank all the students, former and current, that were here tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. It definitely puts what I like to see, a face and a name with the program and the benefits we receive. So thank you for your time this evening. Not a lot. I enjoyed the WASDA meeting last night. It was nice to get out with some of the other school districts in person to share the challenges and successes we've had over the last few years, and learning that we're not in this alone, but there's a lot of policies and procedures that were developed during the time frame that will be very helpful for us as we move on and implement our strategic plan and other things. So other than that, it was a very good evening, so thank you.
And I too want to thank all of you students, past and present and current, that have come to speak tonight. I know this can be kind of a nerve-wracking environment. I'm really proud of all of you for coming in and representing what your experience was. It's very good for the school board to hear from students at any point in time. So thank you very much for doing that. We did host the WASDA meeting last night here in the Mountain View gym, and that was wonderful for our director or our region area to come and see our brand new school. Many of them had not been able to. That meeting had been planned several times, and because of the pandemic, it was just able to happen for the first time last night. And Spencer Lake catered the food for it, which was wonderful. So it was nice to have a local caterer here to do the food for everyone. And it was the most well-attended WASDA regional meeting that they've had so far. We had the most different school districts that came here. So I heard many compliments about the brand new building and just some of the things that were going on. And it was definitely nice. All 5 of our school board members were present. And it's just always nice to hear from other school board directors, similarities or different challenges that they're facing in their school districts, and to learn from one another. So these opportunities for our own professional development are very important. And yes, I'm aware of state testing coming up. We definitely have kids that are going to be nervous going through the state testing that they always do at those grade levels. And it has been wonderful to see all of the participation in spring sports at all levels. I mean, I was speaking to a school director from Elma last night. They said they have the most people attending track that they've ever had, and what a great problem to have. So they've got more students that are wanting to participate than they've ever had before. So all of those things are great things. Outside of that, we are starting to ramp up. As I've told the school board members, I'll continue to send you emails of reminders of what's going on, whether it is, we were joking, the Med Academy ribbon cutting is May 25th. Matt thought it was April 25th and showed up there last night. So that's where some of that, yes. So we all know now, we're all well aware that it's May 25th at 4 p.m. It was not April 25th. So we've got that coming up. We've got all the different graduations between Choice, Cedar, Shelton High School. There's going to be a Hall of Fame ceremony that's also in June. So there's a number of different events coming up for the community to come out to. as well, which is going to be great. And I know we're going to be having all of the schools moving on ceremonies that we'll probably get a schedule for on top of that. So lots to keep us busy through the end of the school year. Thank you, everybody who came again tonight. At this time, there is no need for an executive session. So if we have a motion to adjourn, we will be done with the meeting.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Hearing none, our meeting has adjourned. And we do still need to sign documents, so don't